Welcome back, YouTube. So I wanted to cover in this video the retest that we're seeing across the board and the aggression and the movements. Because as we talked about in the last video, a lot of people are questioning the time of the run and whether or not we're going to go down and all of the short-term, short-sightedness stuff that's going on. But what we really need to look at is the fact that yes, we are running ahead of schedule, both Doge and Bitcoin and a lot of the other coins as well in the top 10. They're all running ahead of schedule. But also look, even when inflation is coming in hotter than what we expected, yes, I guess you can say that the market kind of priced that in ahead of time. So yes, the CPI report wasn't we didn't quite meet expectation, but the retest that we're seeing here, regardless of what's happening, regardless of who's liquidating longs or shorts, regardless of who's dumping, whales dumping, regardless of the macros, the dip or the amount that's sold into the market gets quickly purchased. The coins are rallying back to do those retests, and typically what that means is it's kind of like I've been using the analogy about knocking on the door and eventually a door gets kicked in. You have these retests that's letting you know that the coin is trying to appreciate. The market overall is signaling that they believe that the coins are undervalued. So you see this rapid retesting, like no matter what happens, if it's something that's shock value that comes in, you'll see this rapid retesting of it sells off to 18, runs back to 20. And then something else happens, sells off to 18, runs back to 20. And so you're seeing this retest here, and it's not necessarily like the shorts or something piling in, or even the traders, because we don't have the significant volume here to accomplish that. But we're seeing the market doing these retests because it's trying to move higher. This is prior to the halving here. So again, I'm not necessarily saying that we can't um, have a deeper consolidation, but we have to come into terms with that. It's possible that we've seen the low of the dip for the halving. So not necessarily saying that's a guarantee, but because if I'm going to go to Bitcoin real quick, because for those, just in case this is your first video, you'll see that the low for Bitcoin is around, if we take the last few cycles and the averages, we're going to be looking at around 58, which is where we are now. We haven't came anywhere near that, and we have a few support levels before that. So it's not something that's would be quickly done per se, but we are hovering at these retests here, threatening to break the all-time high and ascend. So we have to keep in mind that the coins are growing, the wallets are growing, the overall amount of Doge held per wallet has increased. It's right around about 500 now, and we have to accommodate that and say, okay, what does this mean in terms of price action? And price action, and one of the benefits of that is it means that we can possibly not see the historical correction percentages that we've seen before. So we may not see that dip down to around the 15 mark, or have even retest like the 16. So we could see this sideways action here up until after the halving, where we're bouncing between 18 and 20. Now, but I do believe we're going to get a deciding factor here sooner or later, because the movement is too grand and it's happening too quickly, because now we're retesting like every other day. We're up, down, up, down, up, down. And so we're going to get a deciding factor here. So keep your eye on, primarily I say keep your eye on Bitcoin, because once that breaks, you're going to see a flood of money come into the market here. And obviously that'll be affected here for Doge. So let's take a look here overall at shorts. I wanted to cover that. Yeah, nothing significant here. So shorts don't believe it's going to go down. And again, if this is the first video you've seen, you'll know that if the market believed that Doge was overvalued and it was going to come down, you would see a green candle in shorts. And they would say, okay, there's money to be made here. We believe that this is about to tank and we're going to capitalize off of it. Same thing with Bitcoin. We're seeing red candles here. They're coming out of these short positions. What does that mean? It means that the market is saying that we don't believe that there is money to be made on a Bitcoin sell-off. So we're going to come out and wait. So we're seeing evidence here that the market is not pricing in lower Doge and lower Bitcoin, which is fine, because we believe that it's undervalued anyway. So let's take a look here at the long versus shorts. 69 on the 5. 30, 70, 30, 70, 30 for the 1 hour, 70, 30 for the 4, and around 70, 30 roughly on the day. Let's go to, I'm going to go back to check some liquidations here, and almost even swaps across the board. 4.2 on the long liquidations and 4.8 on the shorts. Shorts slightly have an edge, but almost even. This is what I meant by when we're talking about like swaps or, who's selling or traders taking profits and stuff. The market is really balancing itself out. That's why we're kind of getting this sideways movement, because even though the options are, the long options are dominating, again, they don't necessarily have to execute right now. So those are just options as far as that kind of relates to open interest. Let's just know the tone of the market and where they believe the assets are going to go, but they don't necessarily have to buy right now. And we're up around 7.64, 1.4 billion on the open interest. Let's go back. Because we're seeing a balance there. We're going to go back to the charts here. So other than that, we're probably going to see some continued sideways momentum, at least for now, until we get a deciding factor as far as we're breaking out and where we're going to go. A good indicator for that is obviously going to be Bitcoin, and watching around that 70K mark to see what's going to happen next and kind of where the tone of the market's going to be. Because these retests, I'm telling you what retest means. I know it's kind of like if we keep seeing like the sell-offs and it was down toward a support, kind of like if we were if we were in a downtrend and it was trying to move higher or break cycle, and it was like, say, let's bouncing off of the 15, for example, then that would mean we can possibly see a sell-off. But because that's not what's happening, we're on an uptrend here, and we keep retesting the initial rejection level. This is a sign here of a potential to continue the trend. So that's something we're going to be looking for over the next few days. I wanted to provide that update, and I think that we will ultimately be okay in the short term. I don't necessarily see, unless something crazy happens, because even with the event today, as far as having like a macro sell-off, the market kind of was ahead of that. And today it was, I want to say, really unfazed for the most part by that, the news of the data coming in hot. I see 28 billion on the market cap, 3% on the day. Timecoin still ahead of Cardano. Cardano is probably going to be out of the top 10 on the next rally. I'm willing to believe that, because even right now, it's 0% on the hour and 2% on the 7-day. Like very minimal growth here compared to just about any other coin in the top 10. So you can see why it's falling like that. 6% on the 7-day, 6% on the 7-day, 7%, 7%. This is a stable coin, obviously. Dogecoin, 11%, Timecoin, 36%, and then you have 2%, right? And Avalanche is right here on their heel. So just like we talked about, Cardano's in trouble. So I know you're probably going to see some videos and stuff saying, people saying, oh, it's fine. No, Cardano's in trouble. Looking at the fundamentals of that, Cardano's definitely in trouble. So I just kind of I can say look forward to it, but keep an eye on the great rebalancing like we talked about. I believe there's going to be a big rebalancing of coins going through this bull run and afterwards. And I think that's going to be retelling of where capital and where liquidity is going to go and which coins are going to be the most sound over the long term. So anyway, that is my price update for now. We will check back in a little later tonight to see where is that candle likely to close. So if you found value in this video, please consider subscribing. We're going to try and get to 100,000 subscribers before Bitcoin reaches $100,000. So if you can help with that, I'll appreciate it. Leave a comment in the comment section. I'll get to as many of you as possible, and I will see you guys in the next video.